gentlemen, this is Sugaray Raper, and we are live at the Suga Shack.
What up, everybody? How y'all doing on this fine Tuesday? November, man, it came around fast, even with all the pandemic and all that crap. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for Turkey Day. I don't feel like cooking, but just me and Pam, because even if I buy the smallest turkey I can find and I cook it, that's still way too much turkey for two people. So I'm going to have to go do something. Hey, everybody, hope you're doing great. I got two unbelievable guests there. I got my man Aki, I got my man Jimmy. We're going to talk to both of them both of them cool cats and make sure that everything's good with them because they're good peoples. And I hope everybody enjoying themselves. Judy, Joyful Robles, you're the first person in today. Well, the first one positive. So today we're having a good time. Today is about what did you do for the Day of Dead? When was the Day of Dead? The Day of the Dead was that Monday? No, today is Monday. Today is Tuesday. I don't know what day it is. This is the pandemic, baby. I ain't keeping track. Day of the Dead. I think that is such a cool custom that Latin people have. I love that. A day that the entire family gets together. They go down to the cemetery and the entire family have lunch, breakfast, and a picnic with the deceased. And hopefully that their spirits are there also. I think that is so freaking cool. That means family means everything. That is really, really cool. I'm going to start the day off with a little something. And since I got two guests today, we ain't going to talk too much. I'm going to get them on up. But I want to start y'all with a little Mississippi John Hurt, y'all. Check this out for you.
Make me down, pat it on your floor. Make me down. Make me a pallet down soft and low. Make me a pallet on your floor.
Chris Cook, Toby Simmons, Deb Ryder, how y'all doing?
40 miles more. I'm going to the country while the cold, sleet, and snow. I'm going up the country while the cold, sleet, and snow. I'm telling how much further I may go. Just make me down. Make me down. Make me a pallet down soft and low. Make me a pallet on your floor.
David Brown, I have not been invited for the cruise, for that particular cruise. So I'm hoping that maybe a winner or something. We'll see.
My back and shoulders tired.
Hey, Rick, how you doing, brother?
My back and shoulders tired. The way I'm sleeping, my back and shoulders tired. Gonna turn over and try it on the side.
I hear Deb.
Oh, make me down.
What's the weather like in Wales today?
Make me down. Make me a pallet down soft and low. Make me a pallet on your floor. Don't you let my good girl catch you here. Don't let my good girl catch you here.
I'm a big fan of Sun House, but over the last 10 years became a really big fan of Mississippi John Hurt.
No telling what she might do. Just make me down. Make me down. Make me a pallet down soft and low. Make me pat it on your floor. Make it, baby, close behind the door. Make it, baby, close behind the door. Make me a patty close behind the door. Make it right. Your good man will never go. Oh, make me down.
Christina Beer, you gorgeous woman. How you doing?
Make me down.
Hey, Kimmy. How's it down in Mississippi today, baby?
A patty down on your floor. Make me a patty on your floor.
Now, if you can't feel that, something wrong with you. You got a hole in your head and your soul. That's the real deal there, baby. Mississippi John Hurt. I love that. You know, I'm a blues man. I love soul music, old school soul, blues rock. I like it all. You know, I'm like BB. There's no such, you know, like BB said. I always like a little bit of everything. There's something in there I could find of everything. Heck, even that crazy heavy goth metal stuff. I did what the drummers are doing as a drummer. I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. You know, they got ambidextrous member. They think of drummers, so you can always find something you love in everything. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out which guest I want to bring up first because I want to get these guys. They've been so kind to be backstage and everything. Eric Sassman, how's everything looking over there? Everything look good so far? I can keep on going. Eric Sassman is on vacation with his family. He's so dedicated and such a cool cat that he's got his phone in his hotel room, making sure that Sugar didn't mess it up. Let's bring up Aki first because I haven't talked to that young man probably in about, my God, it's been at least 7 years, I think, since I actually seen him in the flesh. I'm thinking. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Aki Kumar. Let me bring him up. And hopefully I did not mess up his name because people always mess up mine. So, that's why I just tell them, call me Sugar. You know, they can't pronounce my real name or they forget it when they hear it, you know. So, but I just tell people, call me Ray or call me Sugar. It's funny when I go in somewhere and say, your mama name you Ray Rayford. I say, no, my name is Koran Rayford. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. Just call me Ray. How you doing, young man?
Doing all right, sir. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. You've been blowing up, man. I've been seeing you doing stuff left and right, bro. What's going on?
I know, man. I feel like I'm just crawling my way back out of my cave
after
this pandemic, you know?
Yeah, I think that's everybody, though. That's everybody. You know, I know some people like Jimmy and a few people have been going overseas and doing things. And, you know, I love having my big band, but I think that's why this coming year, I'm going to put together me a little 3-piece. I'm like, I'm going to go there and put me a little acoustic 3-piece. I'd like to do an acoustic album one day, you know, just to see I'm doing it. But anyway, you are an amazing Mississippi saxophone player. And I know you got a new album out that just came out last year, but it's still new because you haven't had a chance to tour behind it. Can you talk about that?
Sure, yeah. That's my latest and greatest album. It's called Dilruba. I'm very proud to say that album was released and produced by Sony Music India. And you know, it's like the third album that I put out in this Bollywood blues line of albums, which is like a genre of my own invention. You can call it.
Make your own bubble. That's what you do.
Yeah, you got to do your own thing.
Get in where you fit in.
Pretty much find your own voice. And so, really proud of it. It's got you know, a bunch of originals and a bunch of covers, songs that are bilingual in Hindi and English. Hindi being the native tongue that I speak. From India. And yeah, I would love to get out there and, you know, start putting some of that music out there live because I've got a band that's ready to go. We've been rehearsing, playing, and excited to play some of that material.
Okay, now I saw a few videos. I saw you. June Core was playing drums. Does June normally play with you if you're not out with Charlie?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, he's local, so I'm really grateful and blessed that way that he lives in the same town. I live in San Jose in California.
Oh, okay.
So anytime he's available, I absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't, right? I mean,
I'm with you, brother. Yeah.
So it's like the pinnacle of blues drumming in this era, and it's just a big honor to have him on stage with me.
Now, let me ask the boring questions, and this is for the people that don't know you. Let's get the boring question. When did you have the epiphany of loving the blues, and when did you pick up the harmonica? I call these the boring questions because you've probably been asked like 18 million times, and I don't like doing interviews like this, but we're gonna do this just so people get to know who you are.
You know what? I should probably just start making up a new answer every time.
Yeah,
Exciting.
I've done that. You get in trouble though. You do get in trouble.
You get called out a few years later. That's
yeah,
true.
you get called out. Go
So
ahead.
I'll keep it honest. The two things, harmonica and blues, were separate for me.
Okay.
I grew up in India, and for some reason, almost as if it's like a decree or the law, almost every family in India seems to have a broken old harmonica somewhere, stashed somewhere.
Really?
And yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's at some point, I suppose there was like a whole influx of harmonicas in the Indian market, and maybe back in the day, I don't know what the deal is. We had this old tremolo harmonica in the family. My dad would pull it out once a month and kind of noodle around on it. That was my introduction to harmonica. And also back in the day, in the retro Indian movies featured harmonica in the 50s and 60s. Their song tracks had harmonica, so I was familiar with the sound, the acoustic sound of harmonica. It was nothing like blues, but it was harmonica sound. And then when I came to the United States for my work and education and all that, in my 20s, that's when I first came across the sounds of blues, because I was already into oldies and 50s rock and roll and that kind of stuff. And so that kind of led me to the blues route. And when I first heard Muddy, those records with harmonica being played on it, that was when I realized, holy moly, I've not really started to scratch the surface on this instrument, And that took me down that path of trying to find that soulful blues harmonica voice. Found me a good teacher here in San Jose named David Barrett, and I was a good student for a bunch of years trying to learn everything I could.
Right on.
So that's how it got started with me.
Right on. That's pretty cool. I mean, because when I went to India for the first time for the Mahindra Blues Festival, and me, Charlie Musselwhite, and Beth Hart, and I met a young man down there, Aaron Joy, and I had no idea that blues. I mean, I've traveled the world, but sometimes I still get surprised when I go certain places and there's actually a scene. I'm like, wow, I'm in India. I'm like, there's actually a blues scene. These young people are actually digging the blues. Toby Simmons, the young man's name is Aki Kumar. And am I saying that right, Aki?
You got it right. I've been called worse.
Oh, believe me, bro. I try. I hate
you got it absolutely right. Actually.
I hate that. I'm just calling him Aki. He's a hell of a matter of fact. I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna throw up a video that I found of him. He didn't show this to me, but I found it and I liked it, and I'm gonna play it. So I'm gonna move me off. I'm gonna move me off the screen. I'll still be able to hear you, okay? But I want to get this video.
I don't need no big boat to throw me no lifeline. I don't need no big boat to throw me no lifeline. I'm swimming in this blue ocean, and I think I'll do just fine. I don't need no foundation, 'cause I stand on steady ground. No, I don't need no foundation, 'cause I stand on steady ground. Yes, I was born to play these blues, and I think I'll stick it round. Play these blues, bro. no society to lend me no helping hand. No, 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 don't lend me no helping hand. I'ma do it all by myself, 'cause I am a self-made man.
Yeah, man. Now that's pretty cool to do that without a bass player or anything, man. I like that. That's
Well,
that's
thank
really
you, man.
cool. That's
Thank you.
old
That was
school.
a pandemic forced creation that was done in my garage. In fact, right behind, well, where I'm sitting right now. That's my little home setup.
Yeah.
And because we couldn't do any gigs, during the pandemic, we kind of got together as a trio. Our bassist wasn't available at the time, and just did what we could, man.
Well, that's the nature of the blues, brother. My ancestors, when they put this together, them and the white folks in the hill, and I always tell people, blues is a black music, but it was also influenced by the hillbillies, aka the Irish. There were the hillbillies up in the hills of Mississippi. That's where the whole slide guitar come from. Everybody tried to put all this craziness on it. Slide guitar started because these black guys saw them white folks up there playing fiddle. Black folks didn't play fiddle back then. We couldn't have fiddle, couldn't afford fiddle. So they learned to try to make that sound with the guitar. That's what slide guitar, all that come from. But anyway, it's a multicultural music. Maybe been started by black folks, but it's kind of like gumbo. Everybody through the years have put their little bit of seasoning in it, and that's why everybody like it. Can you dig it?
I'm all about that.
I can dig it. That's the way I feel about it. Willie J. Laws, you dirty brother. How you doing, brother? What's going on? I like that cat. He good people. So yeah, man. So otherwise, you've been to San Jose. Any gigs and all this year? I mean, I've done like 5. I got one more coming up here in November.
Yeah.
Which will be my last show for the year. It's the last one I got on the books, unless something pops up out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's been tough because there was like an initial flood of gigs almost coming out of the pandemic because everybody got vaccinated. We've got a good vaccination rate up here and all that, but then suddenly a lot of the venues started shutting down again because the infection rates went up. So it's been kind of a high and low. But I've got a few gigs coming up. I've got a show coming up on the 10th of December at the Ivy Room in Albany, which is a great club. I've never played there before.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that particular show. And, a bunch of small backyard parties because people are looking for entertainment. If they can't go to a club, they're going to do it outdoors in their backyard.
Yeah.
And thankfully, because the kind of music I play is kind of a fusion of Hindi, Indian, and blues music, there's a strong Indian community here in the Bay Area. That
I didn't know. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. So they invite me to play their events all the time, and that's another little circuit that I have going on, which is kind of cool, I guess.
Like I said, baby, get in where you fit in. That's Make your own bubble, baby.
Self-made man, baby.
Self-made man. I ain't mad at you. I mean, that's what it's all about, man. And like I said, I'm envious of those people that can break their band down and go in there as a 3-piece or a 4-piece. I'm a 7-piece, sometimes a 10-piece band, and I'm not greedy or anything, but I got to make a certain nut just to make it where it's feasible to actually bring everybody. So
yeah.
It's
band leader woes, Sugaray.
Huh?
Band leader woes.
Yeah, I just shut up. Everybody got them. It don't matter who you are. And I've turned down a lot of shows this year because I just didn't feel comfortable being inside, especially with what my wife has been going through. I've been worried about bringing it home. You know what I'm saying? But enough of that. Everybody knows what's going on. My wife, who is the bomb, she's the bomb, brother. Been the bomb for 26 years. She is the bomb. I wouldn't even be here talking to you if it wasn't for that woman, brother. Just what it is. But you too, hey man. I think every successful musician. And success is measured by the musician. It's not measured by wealth or what you're driving. Everybody has their idea of what success is. None of us probably. There's only a few of us that are going to be millionaires behind this. The rest of us, if you can pay your bills and you can get out and do what you love to do and exercise your heart, you're successful. That's the way I look at it in my book. So, anyway, you play any other instruments, bro?
You know what? As of last year, yes. I've started to play drums. That kit behind me is June Core's Yamaha kit, And because all the gigs went away last year, I told June, why don't you just help me out and show me some of the fundamentals? And so he's been doing that, and I've been putting in some time behind that kit and turning into a bit of a overzealous amateur drummer myself.
Well, that's the way it happens, brother. I mean, I played drums. I started playing drums at 6 years old. I've been playing drums for a lot of people don't know that, but I've been a drummer for over 40 some odd years, But
maybe you could show me something, man.
No, man. Yeah, I mean, I got smart and I started bringing in great drummers. I didn't want to pull all that gear around, So I've been blessed to have like Lavelle. I've been blessed to have James Gasson and Bernard Purdy and those guys backing me up. So it's like, I ain't touching the drums. I'll just sit back and let them guys do their thing. And, I've been real lucky, and that's just luck, Bernard and James are just Mr. Gasson and Mr. Purdy. They're good damn people and unbelievable drumming. And like I say, I've been playing for 40 years, and sometimes I'm in the middle of a show if I have those guys on stage, and I turn around and just like, what was that? It's like, it's a drummer. I'm hearing all that. I'm like, what was that? Matter of fact, hold on a second. I want to see if I can find this. A lot of people don't know that Mr. Gatson is also, don't go nowhere. I can't see you right now, but I can hear you. Give me a second. I'm gonna look this up on YouTube. They know him as a great drummer. A lot of people don't know that he's also one of the best singers that I ever heard in my life. Let's see if it will come up. Let me see if this is the right one. Give me a second. But anyway, while I look for that, the new album is out. All right.
Sir.
And it's doing. Digitally, have you been able to move any product?
Well, no, because everything's streaming now. So what is product anymore, right? And
that's why I said digitally, because that is the only way.
It
is.
I think it just comes down to getting people to watch or listen. And thankfully, with that last album, I had 3 music videos that came out along with it that did really well. And folks can check it out on the Sony Music India channel or my website, akikumar.com.
All right.
But
put that up too. We'll get that put up.
Thank you so much. The good thing is also that my oldest Bollywood blues album, which came out 5 years ago, it had to be taken down off of Spotify a few years back because of a rights dispute, because there was no clarity on streaming rights and stuff for covers of Indian songs. But that's been resolved, and we've been able to reinstate that album on Spotify. So that just happened last week, and so folks can now start to get a full range of what I do at my shows.
What's been here? I'm Eric. Even without this typewriter, he's up. He's on.
Oh, thank you. I see that.
Wait a minute. Let me get that back up there. There we go. What was freaking me out was, now that I have a social media team to help me out and all this stuff, because we come to find out right before the pandemic, as I got nominated for the Grammy and all that good stuff. Things have changed. It's like now booking agents are booking you off your social media numbers, not even what you can do. They, if you don't have a few 100,000 social media, even though you got all this recognition, they won't even bring you in. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell? Because a lot of times, let's face it, I've heard people on social media, then I hear them live, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter anymore.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. It does not matter. That freaked me out. I want to play this real fast. Let me move me off the screen. Check this out. Here is and then I got one more video I want to play of you, and then we'll get my man Jimmy up here. Check this out. Here is.
All about Love Land and all of its many charms, but I know I'll never get to Love Land unless I'm wrapped up in your arms. Got to take me with you, please take me with you. How I love to walk down that golden street, hand in hand with you where all the lovers meet. Oh, I'd love to go to Loveland with you, pretty baby, 'cause my love is true. I swear I do. I have heard all about Loveland and all of its youthful haunts, where loneliness just can't enter, and happiness is the answer. Got to take me with you, baby. Got to take me with you. Oh yeah. How I'd love to walk down that golden street, hand in hand with you where all the lovers meet. How I'd love to go to Loveland with you. Yeah. Oh, I'd like to walk with you down that golden street, hand in hand with you where all the lovers meet. Oh, I'd love to go to Loveland, Loveland.
Hey, thank you, Eric. Love you, man. You be safe. Enjoy your family.
I do, swear I do. My love is true. Take me with you, baby. Yeah. Take me with you, baby. Yeah. Got to take me by the hand. Tell me, baby, I'm your lover, man. Together we will go where we'll stop. Everybody will know. Got to take with them.
Mr. Gatson, baby, that's what I call him, Mr. Gatson. He always just tell me, Sugar, call me James. I'm like, no, sir, you're gonna be Mr. Gatson. And I was very blessed. The first band that I was ever in when I moved to LA was called the Invitation All Stars. And I didn't know who these cats were, but they had saw me singing. This is right when I had started the jam over at Cozy's, and these cats had saw me singing, and they invited me to be part of the band. And the band was James Gatson on drums, Gerald Johnson from Steve Miller on bass, and Adam Stark, who later became the vice president of Pixar, on guitar. It's a three-piece, and we were called the Invitation All Stars, and we played all around LA. And that was my first band in LA. So I was very glad, I always told Pam it was really weird because I would see all these movie stars in these places, and we were playing some small places and places that on the held like 100, 150 people, but it'd be 300-400 people trying to get in there. And I used to be like, what the hell is going on? I know they wasn't there to see me. And then Pam Wikipedia'd them, and that's when I realized who Mr. Gatson was. Because I was a gospel guy. So everything was still new for me. I mean, I heard some of this great music everybody played, but I never delved into it, like who are the players and blah, blah. It was like I just kind of heard it on the radio, you know what I mean? Because it was all about the Mississippi Mass Choir and Shirley Caesar and the Winans and all that stuff when I was coming up. But anyway, I got one more video I want to play of you, sir, and I want to thank you for being on the show today. It was very kind of you. Thank you so much. You're a hell of a player.
Thank you.
Keep on keeping on. And everybody out there, if you got any questions, right now is the time to ask for Mr. Kumar. If you got a question you'd like to ask him, put it up on the what you call it. We'll get it up. We'll try to get that answered, and we're gonna try to get Mr. Carpenter up. Before we go, I always like to play something live with everybody because I like people to see you live. And so I pulled out one that I liked. Here we go, and I'm gonna pull me off the screen. So here he is one more time, ladies and gentlemen, Mr.
Thank you, Sugaray.
I brought you on my plate. Working hard for you, baby, brought you on my plate. You're gonna miss Paul Rock when he's gone away. I said, ooh, 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 ooh. I said, ooh, ooh, ooh. I said, ooh, baby, where you mistreating me. I said, ooh, I said, I said, ooh, baby, where you mistreating me. Yes, I'm gonna leave you walking, but it won't be long before I run. I'm gonna leave you walking, but it won't be long before I run. You can tell everybody about the wrongs you've done, 'cause I ain't gonna be your lonely dog no more. No, 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 lonely dog no more. But if you don't like it, honey, down the road I go. Johnny Cat, Johnny Cat. If you don't like it, honey, down the road I go. Working hard for you, baby, I brought you all my pay. Working hard for you, baby, I brought you all my pay. Yeah, yeah, you're gonna miss for when it's gone away. I'm gonna leave the hell walking, but it won't be long before I come. I'm gonna leave you walking, but it won't be long before I come. You can tell everybody about the wrongs you've done. But that's that bar, about my baby bar. Yes, I said bar, about my baby.
little solo. I know you played some solo on here because I watched it last night. I want to get some of that before I cut this out. Sorry, Hunter, this is live video, baby. This is where it was recorded. This is where it is live. That's why I like to let people be here live. Outside the studio. What you got? Come on. Blow, brother, blow! Stanley Barron is a good friend of mine. I've known Stanley for over 20 some odd years. How you doing, you gorgeous woman? Where is Bonita? Hermosa. Good cycling breathing, bro. That's some hellified cycling breathing there. I don't know if you'll hear that on the saxophone. Right on. Go ahead, brother. Jimmy Carpenter, you know about that cycling breathing. A few more seconds, y'all. See, this one is the drive. That's what I call the drive. This is when it's really good right here. That last little bit. Aki, baby, yeah, man. Right
Man,
on.
thank
Right
you
on.
for playing that. It's weird to watch myself sing and play. It's like, like out of
is.
body.
It
I
is,
don't
isn't
know.
it?
I feel so
It's freaky.
judged.
It's a freaky thing, dude. And I hate doing it, man. And you never know with the YouTube because people just take, I always tell people like, I always get those videos up there. It's been the 10th show in 12 days. I'm wrinkled up when the band is tired. We're exhausted. And that's the one that get popped up on the Divorce's Horse. That's the one that pops up on YouTube.
Yeah. That
really...
one, though, was taken by my friend Thomas. I remember him being there. And he knows what he's doing because he's a musical guy. So I think that one turned out okay.
Thomas Hayes?
Thomas Hayes.
He's here. He was
cool.
he was like, I think that was one I shot.
Yeah, it definitely is.
He said, that's the spot I always sit in. Right on. Before we go, brother, give everybody your socials, would you please?
Absolutely. On Instagram, it's Aki_Kumar. And Facebook, it's Aki Kumar, just one little word, Aki Kumar. And my website is also akikumar.com. Check it out. Please send me your love, and I send you all of my love.
Well, brother, I want to say thank you for being on the show today. Welcome to the Suga Shack. And as always, we want to wish you love, peace, and joy, man. And keep on keeping on, brother.
Thank you, Sugaray. This has been a great honor, a great time, and you yourself are a wonderful singer a phenomenal singer and entertainer. So this is a big deal for me. Thank you for having me on this show.
I appreciate that. I'm just loud, brother. I
No,
learned
no, no.
I learned to use my loudness to my advantage.
Gotta be heard, man. Gotta be heard.
Got to be heard, especially when you're playing with a big band. I push over them for a little bit, anyway. All right, man. Aki, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. It was great having you on, and hopefully somewhere maybe next year we can get you back on again and
Love
talk
to do
more. Hopefully we'll all be back out running. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Mr. Aki Kumar, please. All right, brother. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was my man Aki Kumar, great harmonica player out of San Jose area, cool cat. This next cat, I met him, I want to say it's been 10, 12 years ago. Actually, first time I met him, he probably don't even remember. We were in France, and he was playing with Walter Wolfman Washington, and we was at this place called the Blues sur Seine in France, and it was way, way back, and I was doing I came in and played a show. I brought the big band. I think I had 11 pieces with me that night, which was crazy. 3, 4 horns and all that. 4 horns, I think it was. Anyway, we were playing that prison show. I don't know that if they played the prison show, but I was sitting there listening to Walter Wolfman, and he had this bad cat on saxophone, and we actually spoke under an old oak tree out in the back in the dark. He don't remember that. For some reason, though, it came up to me, and I remembered. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for my friend, the one and only, the legendary Mr. Jimmy Carpenter, saxophonist extraordinaire. Jimmy!
What's up, Ray?
What it be like, my brother?
It's a beautiful day here in Las Vegas.
What's the temperature like?
It's gorgeous. It's like 75. It's lovely.
I wonder what the temperature. Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's 81 degrees.
Well, it's 81 here. I'll take it, baby.
Expect a low of 51 degrees.
Right on.
Right. 51.
I think it's up.
You gotta love that.
Yeah, you got. We gotta love it, brother. So, you were living in New Orleans at the time when I met you.
Right.
When did you make that transition?
I moved out here 6 years ago.
Has it only been 6 years? It seems like it's been more than that.
It does seem, well, it seems like a few minutes and it seems like forever too.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy though, isn't it? And I know you work with AJ and all those guys over at the Bender, but you still been kicking the solo career, which I love to see that. You guys been. I know you're getting ready to go to Denmark here in a short period of time.
Yep, next week.
Oh,
That's
right
with the Bender Brass. Yeah.
Right on. Well, let's talk, brother. Let's talk. Now, how you doing? Like I said, I met you with Walter. How long did you play? If you don't mind me asking, how long did you play with Walter?
I played with Walter just shy of 10 years.
Oh, wow. You got together for a minute.
I got the gig right before Katrina, literally the week before, and I was supposed to just do the travel dates because he had this killer tenor player named Eric Traub.
I know Eric. I knew Eric. I met him through Gary Brown. You remember Gary Brown?
Yeah.
I know everybody, dude. I know Sugar know everybody. Yeah, go ahead.
So that's I was because Eric wouldn't travel. He was a kind of a curmudgeon but a wonderful cat. And Walter said, "Hey man, why don't you do the travel dates?" I was like, "Yes," because I admittedly had been lobbying hard.
Right.
And a week later, everything became a travel date, and I worked with him. It saved my life after Katrina just to have that gig was. We did all kinds of stuff all over the world. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I came down because New Orleans is my favorite city. Where I went to school down in Baton Rouge. I got married in New Orleans, and usually over the last 25 years, Pam and I spend at least 3-4 trips a year in New Orleans. We just really love the. Don't play there. I think I played there once, but I just love coming down, the food, the people, the ambiance. And I always tell people like, yeah, okay, you go to Bourbon Street, you're in the quarter once, but it's so much outside of that, So I spend a lot of, I got family that live out in Metairie and Slidell, and so I just come down quite a bit, man. I love that city. So
yeah, me too.
There had to be a big change coming out to Las Vegas.
It was a major change. Yeah, and I never really expected to leave New Orleans, man. I loved, I'd unpacked my stuff and thrown all the boxes away, and but life has a way of making some twists and turns, and I came out here actually with Walter for the I guess it was the second year of the Bender, first year of the Bender after the Sin City thing, and I had met AJ at that first one, and we connected, and then I was out here and I met this girl, and
Always a girl. There's always a girl.
Pretty soon, she was in the merch booth, and I was like following her all over the place all weekend long. And so all of a sudden now I live in Las Vegas, and I'm the talent buyer and musical director of the Bender, and things have definitely changed since the New Orleans days.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, you was great, and you can't, but it seemed like to me, and it's just my observation, that you thrived in Las Vegas. Like it was a good move for you. You never know when you're a musician when you move into a new city, because there's always so many cliques, and not just cliques, but people have known each other for so long, and they have their first call people and so forth, so on. But especially Vegas is like coming to LA. It's like the difference is Vegas got all these great musicians. They're kind of like New Orleans. They don't leave Vegas. They stay in the Vegas area because there's so many things to do.
Yeah, I mean it's a whole different scene. It's kind of like, to me, it's kind of yin to New Orleans yang. I mean it's a 24-hour city. It's it's kind of a constant party. But here in New Orleans, the scene is an organic music scene. It's really super hip, and there's tons of it. Here, it's not so organic. The real original music scene is much smaller, and everybody lives off the Strip.
Yeah, very corporate. I guess I would say the word I want to use is corporate as far as Vegas goes.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing. It's not, for me, the Bender is the thing that makes Vegas work for me.
Well, right on.
I mean, I play here a lot but mostly in just one place, and I love it. It's a place called the Sand Dollar, and it's been there since '76. Killer place.
I've said in the Sand Dollar a couple of times just for jams back in the day. It's been a while, like way back. Like I think I was still with Aunt Kizzy's boys when it happened. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great place. It's kind of a combination of super hipster dive bar and music room.
Right on. But let me ask you, where if you don't mind, where are you from originally?
Well, I was born in Virginia. I was raised mostly in North Carolina.
And let me say this real fast for all you people in Virginia. I don't get political, but I'm gonna throw this out here. Y'all get out there and vote. Today is a big, important vote in Virginia today. Now that he just said that, it's a big, important vote. Whichever way you vote in, just get out and vote. It's worth it. I know people don't usually get out for the midterm type deal, but get out and vote. The governor vote is going on today.
Right
if you're
now.
in Virginia and you are under my voice, get yourself out and vote. Get out there and vote. Right on. That's my PA for the day.
Big deal.
It's a big deal. It is a big deal. What now I know you as a saxophone player. I recently saw that you playing freaking guitar. That flipped my mind. What other instruments you play? What else you got hidden in that bag of tricks there, Felix the Cat?
Nah, that's pretty much it. I haven't been blessed to play with some amazing guitar players. I seriously hesitate to call myself one.
Yeah, that's the same way I feel about the drums.
I just kind of hack around at it. I write songs on guitar, and so I try to play it in the set just to sort of break up the constant tenor sax.
Right.
Plus, it's fun and it looks cool, and and then all of a sudden, I got a big volume knob. I can be loud as everybody else.
I know, isn't that nice? Isn't that
That's
nice?
a great thing.
As a singer, I'm at the mercy of the sound man, and I have a loud band. My band is loud, and I want it that way. I've always put the band together that way. It's a concert band. It's kind of hard to go and play a club date because these guys want to play like they're playing in front of 10,000 people, and I got to pull the horses back. But it's nice when you actually have a volume knob.
It's fun. I'm a little scared of it, I must admit. I'm always like, man, is that too loud? I don't want to be that guy. Really.
Yeah, that guy.
But I do want to crank it up because it sounds way better that way.
All right. Everything's going. Everything is. What I want to know is, I got to ask those questions. I don't have to, but I like to ask those questions. What epiphany and when did you have that epiphany about you and the saxophone? And what music brought you to the saxophone?
Well, my dad had some big band records, Glenn Miller and that kind of stuff.
Oh, I'm a big Glenn Miller fan, brother.
He also had Dave Brubeck records.
Okay, that's a serious difference,
right?
From Miller to Brubeck.
Paul Desmond was the saxophone player, and I just was entranced with it. I'm not sure when, except that when I had the opportunity, I guess I was 10 years old. I got invited to this summer camp thing, and one of the things you could do was play an instrument. And my mother said, just asked me, "Do you want to play an instrument?" And I said, "Saxophone." And she says, I didn't hesitate for a second.
Right on.
So I was hooked at that pretty much almost instantly. I was like, "This is it. I love it."
Well, I love saxophone. I don't leave home without one. So,
right.
How many you got? It's coming.
I don't know, 6 or 7, not that many.
And you have in those Mark 7s and Mark 8s or whatever?
Big, beautiful 1937 Con right there.
That's a Con?
That's a Con 37 12M.
You mind just? I'm gonna ask you this. You don't have to, but I'm gonna ask you. You mind just tooting a little bit on it for us, brother?
Man,
you don't have to do it, but if you would, I'd be appreciative.
Let's see if I can do this without embarrassing myself here.
1937.
Right,
Jimmy. If you had to estimate, what's the price on that bad boy? If you had tried to buy one today.
Well, I did buy
if you could find one.
I did it. I was not looking for a horn, but this thing came up on Facebook during the pandemic, and I saw it and went, "Oh,
you got it during the pandemic. Someone had to sell it.
I still don't know how to play it, really.
Someone had to sell it, though, huh?
I guess he was. I drove down to I forget where, somewhere in California, and picked it up. I met the guy outside of Starbucks. I played it for about 10 minutes. Went, "There you go. I'll take it."
Right on.
Yeah, it was great. Down past Bakersfield.
Okay. Yeah, baby. That sounds damn good. What do you mean you can't play it? Sounds good to me, man.
It's a kind of a, I swore I'd never buy another old horn because love.
It takes a lot of work.
I have 2 late 30s Cons tenors that I love, but they're hard to play. Ergonomically, they were made for much smaller hands than me. And normally I play a modern horn because it's just louder and easier to play. But
I'm trying to think. I think Aaron Hall has a Mark 6 or Mark 8.
6.
It's really expensive, and he babies that thing when we're traveling. And it sounds. I must admit, it does sound amazing. But man, it takes a lot of work. There's always valves coming loose. I mean, we've been in the middle of gigs. He got rubber bands tied to it until he can get it fixed again, and it's crazy. But the sound is like, damn, And he's taller than I am, but he does have those long fingers. He's got those long, skinny fingers.
Yeah, I mean, they're a challenge, man. There's so much going on in there, and any one little thing goes wrong, it messes up the whole deal. So it's kind of a challenge to keep them going. That's another good thing about modern horns is they're solid usually.
Yeah, they're road worry.
But if you bump into it, knock it over, anything happens, man. It's always, and when you're traveling, especially like in Europe, you can't carry 2 of them.
No.
So
they're gonna give you a hard time anyway. So what type of case are you using? I'm pretty sure you're probably trying with a hard case or a semi-hard.
Oh yeah, I've got an old. It's actually a vintage now. I bought it in '98. A Walt Johnson hard case. They don't make them anymore. That's the best $250 I ever spent.
Oh, right on. I know some really great saxophone players, yourself, Terry Hank, and some other cats that I really, really know. And the Brenda Brass, man. Last time I saw you was at the Bender. I was blessed to be there, and I appreciate you guys having me there and dealing with all the changes now, with my new management and booking agencies and all that stuff. But
we stuck it out, man. We stuck it out.
Well, I appreciate it. But I said that to say, man, you guys work your hiney off, man. God dang.
Yeah, it's
how many shows you think you played during the Bender?
I don't know. I mean, we do. It's hard to break it down because we do so many things. We do the big Heart show on Wednesday night. We play almost all of that, not all of it, but close. We do the big finale, One for the King show at the end, where we play all of that, and then a nightly 2.5-hour show every night, and then sets with the artists at large, probably another 6, 8 of those, and little special things, the welcome party and the second lines and all kinds of stuff, man. It's great. Doug Wolverton, Mark Early they were awesome guys. And
I got to play with Doug when I did that thing with the Knickerbocker All Stars a few years back, and they brought the original room full guys back, and and all those guys, me and Duke Robart, Jimmy Vaughn, and we cut that album, and that's where I met Doug. And by God, within 2 years later, he had moved to California. I'm like, what the hell? You know, he was calling me up. At the time, I didn't need horns because I had my horns with me. You know, but I was trying to figure out a way to work him in, and then before I realized, I turned around and there he's at the bend. I'm like, all right, he's gone.
I got really lucky, man. I couldn't find. I was new in Vegas. I'm trying to put together a horn section, and I was talking to guys here, and nobody really seemed to get the whole blues. You know, wing it. We'll just make this up as we go. I don't know how much, you know.
Yeah, because all of them guys are like serious reading. They're almost as bad as the guys that used to be in California. And all those guys that used to do all the movies and commercials and all that. They were all part of those huge orchestras where everything was written out. Everything was orchestrated, you know, and it was, you know, which is so different for me being from Texas. I mean, we had that, but you had to be able to read, but at the same time, you had to have a good ear. Because a lot of times you're playing blues gigs or jazz gigs. They were just pickup gigs. And wasn't no rehearsal or nothing, but we had to go ahead and make it work, you know. And it's like, how's your ear? You know, we used to ask that in Texas, like, hey man, does the cat have big ears? We say the cat got big ears.
He got big ears.
He got big ears. He's listening, man. He can do it because not every cat can do that. A lot of times when people get formally trained, they lose that.
Right. And you don't do it if you don't do it all the time. It's, you know, it's like it's the same with reading. If you don't read all the time, you lose it. And I didn't read charts for years and years and years until I moved down to New Orleans, and then all of a sudden I had to remember how to read.
Really? In New Orleans? I didn't think New Orleans was such a big. I mean, I know there's some the talent and the knowledge there is out of this world, you know, because when you see guys playing, you just don't realize sometimes just how deep the knowledge and the commitment is. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I mean, it's well, like Walter had some amazing charts that people did over the years that I had to figure out. The first gig I did with him was Town Hall in New York right after Katrina. I had never played a gig, and they flew us to New York for this big Red Cross benefit, and Walter sent me 3 songs to learn, and I learned them all. And then we're walking up the steps to go on stage, and he turns around and goes, "Hey man, I want to do that Bobby Bland medley." And I was like, "What?" I mean, his Town Hall is completely sold out. The mayor's there. I mean, it's like, yeah, let's not do that.
Hey, he pulled the sugar on you, man. My band knows, you know. I mean, I recently revamped the band. You know, Gino Mateo is no longer with me. Lavelle Jones is no longer with me. And those guys have been with me 10, 11 years. And, you know, I got used to being able to call and ball. That I didn't, you know, there's no set list. It's just 100 songs that I could call. You know, they've been with me so long that I can call whatever song we can play it. Now I have to, you know, these guys got about 25 songs down, so I have to think about it when I'm playing, you know. So hopefully I can get them to the point. But I know that feeling, you know, and they got charts and but I like this, you know, I'm one of them guys, I hate going by the script. It's like, oh, there's a script.
Right.
All right. I'll try and stick to the script, but
I mean, the script has its place. It's good
I'm learning that, Jimmy. I'm learning that.
Sometimes for me on my shows, you know, because I have not been fronting bands for 40 years. I've mostly been a side man, and now I'm trying to do my solo thing. So I'm learning all the time. Just about the playing is really the simplest part of it. It's all the other stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot.
The mechanics of running the set and the stage, and when to move and when to talk and when to shut up, and, you know, not saying stupid stuff. And so if I got a list, it helps me. That's one less thing I got to think about. But,
but you'll get to a point, you know, I don't know how long you've been doing it, but you'll get to the point where that becomes memorized, and then you need to freshen it. You know, you just start building off of it. You know,
got to change it around.
Yeah. But then, you know, as long as the band is with you, they learn all your quirks. And that's the great part, you know, when I don't have to really cue the band, they can look at me and know by my body language where it is, you know, as they call me Pops, where Pops is going.
Where Pops is at, right. That's the way Walter was the consummate band leader. I mean, he would signal, and guys would come into band, you know, I had trumpet players come and go a lot. It's like, you got to watch Walter. I mean, I had to train myself to not just stare at him the whole time.
Yeah.
But he cues everything with just a little thing, this stuff he does. And I knew it, you know, and I was like, see, dude, when he just did that, that means that this is coming.
Yeah.
And I mean, so it's a real art. It's an art to that whole band leader thing, for sure.
No, it is. It really is, dude. And you know, I always tell people I always say that, there's a lot of guys who might out-sing me, but there's very few of them that are going to out entertain me, because that's my thing. And and the band needs to be there with me, because there's more to it than just singing or just playing. When you're the band leader, your job is to engage that audience and keep that audience locked in, and you gotta have that, and obviously you do.
I'm trying, man.
Why did you wait so long, bro?
Well, actually, it's kind of sad, really. It's mostly an economic decision. I was doing so well as a sideman, and it's, I mean, I could work constantly, and I didn't have to do anything except show up at the airport on time. And that's the other thing about band leading. There's a whole bunch of stuff you got to do, because ain't nobody else going to do it. So,
Yeah.
So being a sideman was easy and fun, and I was good at it. I'm still good at it. But
the funny thing is, in my entire career, is when Pam got me back out to play, and I've only had that privilege. I had about a 5-year run with the Managed Boys, where I had that privilege, where it was great, where they just like, show up at the airport at this time. Here's your ticket. This is what you're being paid. I'm like, yeah.
Right.
All I got to do is show up at the airport. All right, this is great. I loved it.
It's a piece of cake, man, and it's all I had to do was figure out how to fit them all together. But I've been making records, for 15 years, so it's or maybe not quite that, 12 years. And I just know as an able, I never really toured much behind them, because I just had all this other stuff going on. It was just doing it to get it out of my system, really. And,
right.
So now, largely because of the bender, I don't have to tour constantly, and I can devote myself to this, which is it's really nice. I love this. The new phase is I'm loving it. It's way different, when you're traveling around the world as the side guy, and when you're the leader. Like the mayors come up and the people come up and say, hey, come on, come on. It's more fun to be the man.
Yeah, but there's a lot of weight on that.
There is.
And it's easy to trip up. And then you have to remember, when you trip up, it ain't just you.
Right.
You messing with the money and livelihood of all the cats that are working with you. So it's there's a reason, but some of us talk about your new album, and I think it was Bill Brackett. But you know what? I want to play. I'm gonna boom me off the screen. I'm gonna bring up. I got a video of you, and this is the Soul Doctor. I was really digging this, brother. You don't mind me playing this, do you?
No, I'm not sure what it is, but I'm kind of. Let me say hi to the Karen and.
Oh, go ahead. Do you
Bill and Gary Graff and Carrie's on here, and good to see all y'all watching.
You got a few people. Debbie Davies said, "What up?"
Debbie Davies, what a sweetheart.
Karen, I think you already mentioned Karen. There's so many people.
Karen Rocky, we called her. She's an old friend of mine from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Greensboro, North Carolina. Oh, Jennifer Noble. You know Jennifer?
I do indeed. I just saw her in London.
Yeah, but she was just saying, hey, he's just back. Jennifer left Chicago and moved to London. And I've been over there hanging with her a few different times. Love Jennifer. I looked down. I was like, what the hell are you doing here, Jennifer? We were at the 100 Club or Skegness or somewhere. And I'm like, what are you doing here, Jennifer? She's like, I live here now. I'm married. I'm like, all right, baby, all right.
She's making waves in London, man. She owns that place.
Yeah, she went over there and took over, baby. She went over there and took over. Right on. Here we go, y'all. Check this out. I'm bringing up. Here's Jimmy Carpenter.
it's Red Young is just he's something else.
He's a monster, man. I told him, I said, I mean no disrespect. I said, you sound very Negroish, brother, on that beat.
I'm sure he hated to hear that.
Yeah, he like, you know, he was telling me like, you know, he spent a lot of time with Jimmy Smith and those cats, and I said, yeah, I can hear it, man. You know, same thing with my buddy Mike Finnegan. I put Red and Finnegan up there, man. I mean, up there with the guys that I grew up with, and to me, that's the highest compliment I could pay anybody. I grew up in the Holiness Church, and I grew up with B3 players that were just out of this world. And I would tell you that Red and Mike, God bless Mike's soul. He actually came on and did the show a few weeks before he passed, and that's a great show. You guys go back and check that out. But they're the only two cats. The only two cats since I came out of the church, out of all these thousands of shows that I traveled, they're the only two cats that still play full 10-finger chords and bass lines are played down on the foot pedals and done the old school way. And that's why they sound that way, because it's not just one hand; it's both hands up there. Doing this unbelievable stuff, but this is about you today. Matter of fact, now you mentioned it, though, I want to get Red on the show. We talked about your former years. So did you go like? And I love that album, and I love that staccato thing in the middle of that. That was so New Orleans to me, so funky.
Yeah, we kind of stole that from the Meters, right?
I'm gonna say it's very New Orleans in it to me. I freaking love it, man. Love it. We talked about your formative years, but where did you learn to read and stuff?
Well, I played all the way through school, and then went to a kind of a brief but not very illustrious career in music school. The guy, the head of the music department, sat me down after my second year, and he says, "Man, this was it's in Greensboro. You know, it wasn't Berkeley or anything." And, and he goes, "Jimmy, you got two things here. You either need to go to a school where they're going to teach you what you want to know, like Berkeley or Miami or wherever, or you need to just go out and start playing gigs." And I thought, you know what? I choose the latter. Let's start playing gigs.
There's nothing wrong with going to school, but
no.
I always tell people, and I got a couple young cats now that are playing with me, horn guys. One's going to get his master's in music right now, Ian Buss, and the other one's getting ready to get his master's in something else. He was with me in Vegas. Martin Moore, and these guys, they're great. And I tell them, I say that it's good to have that. But I can tell you, almost every cat that I ever met that went to school, as far as the real gigging world goes, you need to develop that ear. And there's only one way to develop that ear, and that's by playing gigs. And somebody like me yelling at you on stage saying, "No, don't play like that. Play this." I make up something on stage. I'll walk up to them, right here on this thing. I want to, and they're like, really? They used to look at me. They've been with me for a few months now, and they're like, "Wow, how did you hear that?" I said, "Because this is what I'm hearing." And then you gotta. This is not on paper. You got to play it and make it look seamless, and you can only do that once you have an ear. Yeah, because in the gig world, you got you write it out, but just like you said, you walking on the stage and Walter's like, "Yeah, man, I want to do that melody."
Right. Walter would he would throw curveballs in the middle of songs. He'd change a song. He would do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Hey, but the audience loves that stuff, and that's why you got to have a band that's going to follow you and know you.
Hey, man, I always said, look, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but you ain't going to have no magic if you don't take a chance, right?
You got to take a chance.
You got to you got to try.
You got to try. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just the same. I have played with people who names I won't mention, where we played the same 12 songs every single night.
And I just didn't want to do it, Jimmy. It was a struggle coming up because a lot of musicians, especially when I came into San Diego scene, that's where they were. And I was like, man, 150 shows a year, 200 shows a year around the world. I got to have some joy. I would shoot my brains out if I had to play the song the exact same place, the exact same time, the exact same joke. Night after night after night after night. That kind of defeats the purpose of why I got into music. But I guess in some places it has its place, I guess, to say.
Well, it's safe at least. You can and doing what we do. You do the solos and stuff. You can. I don't know. I never played the same solo twice.
Right.
I got some licks, and I got like 5, and I play them over and over again. So but I don't like to plan it out unless there's some real specific reason that it needs to be the same.
Right. Well, I know, like when I was talking to you at the Bender, I think you was telling me that I was talking to Alistair, and he said you guys had to learn like 90 or 100 songs. Like Jesus, man.
Yeah, we learned close to 100 songs. This was a tough year. It didn't set out to be that way, but man, it turned out that way. That's all right. These guys killed it.
You guys pulled it off.
That's Alistair Green was on guitar. Amazing Mike Merritt on bass, David Kidda on drums, Red Young on keys, Mark Early, Doug Warburton, and myself.
Well, it's a hell of a cast too, though.
Man, well, it's taken me. I mean, it's always been a good band.
Yeah.
I think it's grown and gotten better, and we've gotten better at how we do it. It's a definite art to that too. It's like assembling all this material and rehearsing it and getting it ready, and then when the singers come in, we run it real quick, and then we go on. So it's a challenge, but man, it's fun. I love the fact that my day job, if you can call it that, is such a musical challenge. It's not like punching a clock. I love it.
Yeah, it's I've done a lot of things in my life. I've had a lot of jobs. I'm a Southern guy. That's just the way it is. From bouncer to digging ditches to putting roofs on houses to mechanic to drivers. I've done it all, but nothing has given me the joy that I get, nor the pain, the highs and lows.
That's what it's all about, man.
That is what it's all about, brother. And I love it, man. And first of all, let me say also thank you for being here, because I didn't get a chance to say that, but thank you for being here. Thank you for being patient. And
my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure, brother. I've known you a long time, and as matter of fact, let me give a shout out to Carrie, because she's like hi handsome, and I'm gonna put that one up there because I don't want her to be cutting me to the white meat when I see her next time. Carrie, we love you, baby. we love you. We'll give you some love. Right on. Let me play one more. I want to do one live. I got a live one of you, man.
This is.
Oh, let me get in my Vincent Price.
Here's a pandemic product here.
So when did you do this?
I did it during the pandemic because I just couldn't. I was not one of those guys that learned all the technology and suddenly became little video producers. I struggled with it the whole time.
Hey man, this whole thing I'm doing now, this is all became because I did it because of the pandemic. I had already taken a little time off. I was taking time off before the pandemic hit because Pam had told me, she's like, babe, 18 years, you haven't taken the time off for 18 years. You've been running 150, 200 shows. And we did the Blues Cruise, and I got nominated for the Grammy, but I was burnt. I was mentally and physically, for the first time in my career, burnt. Like I didn't want to play the next show. I was just like, so I had told the guys, I said, man, we're gonna take some time off. We ain't gonna play again after the cruise until March. And then of course Pam got that February. Pam got diagnosed with the multiple myeloma, and then we're in the middle of the run in March, and the pandemic hit. We were in Seattle at Jazz Alley, us and Marcus Miller, and that we were in the middle of the pandemic, in the middle of the epicenter. Didn't realize what was going on, and so I wound up getting some time off, some real time off,
Right.
without knowing. And that's why I tell people, for me, it was really crazy, to get nominated for Grammy, BB King Entertainer, the Soul Blues Male Artist. I got all these great accolades. Number 4 booking agency in the world at the time, UTA, big management, and ready to take on the world. They got me at Telluride. They got me at all these big festivals that are not blues festivals. And then the pandemic hit. Now I'm starting all over again. But that's the business we're in.
That is indeed an unprecedented bump in the road, boy. I tell you what.
Yeah, no, this is unprecedented. But the thing was, it didn't happen to just one of us. It was everybody. So it's like everybody is kind of restarting. It ain't just one person. But all right, I'm gonna shut up for that. Here we go. Check this out. Here's Jimmy live.
slept through the night. I seen the world through a bug-smeared windshield. I'm here to tell you that's been alright. I don't know why I felt I had to say, but I spoke with such confidence just the other day. Listen to my plea, oh, bring it home to me, 'cause I need your love so bad.
All right, all right. Did I lose you? Hey, thank y'all very much. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I appreciate y'all listening to all that. Thank you, Jennifer. Thanks, Carrie, for that and everything else you do. Pat Ford, good to see you here. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I guess I'm still, I'm not sure where Sugar went. Hey, Gary. Nicole, yeah, it is kind of physically demanding, but it's, I've been doing it long enough that I'm kind of grandfathered in. Yeah, I'm not seeing Sugar either. Well, that was my Las Vegas band, Cam Tyler, Chris Tofield, and Jason Langley. They're also the core band on the Soul Doctor record. I think he's out, might be out there smoking a big stogie. Hey, Bill, I saw you posted, oh, wait a minute, here, he's calling me. Hey, man.
Hey, dude, I don't know what the problem is. I'm having a glitch. It won't let me come back on screen. You're still on and you're still talking.
I'm still on it. Right, everybody's here.
All right. I'm going to try something real quick. Don't hang up. I'm going to shut it down and then reopen. And see if it'll let me back in.
Okay. All right.
Don't go nowhere.
So we're trying to fix this glitch, y'all. Hang on. Just hang tight with us.
It won't even let me shut it down. All right, wait a minute.
Oh, so now it says you've joined the broadcast. So I think Bill said earlier if he thought he heard a little Junior Walker, and if you only heard a little bit of Junior Walker, you was missing it because there's a whole lot of Junior Walker. Yeah, he's one of my main heroes. And, right, Darren. Hopefully Sugar's coming back, so I don't have to keep this all up myself. Oh,
there we go. I had to literally shut it down and then come back. Yeah, Junior Walker, man. Yeah, I could definitely hear that in there, man. Junior Walker and All Stars. You know, my old horn guys, Big Al Walker. He used to play with those guys. He's from Virginia, Roanoke, and him and Gary Bavona were my original horn guys. Gary used to be with the CBS Orchestra all over back in the day. I know
Gary.
Yeah, so those guys have been with me for a long time. It just got to a point where, you know, they're older cats, and it was hard having them in the band and trying to drag them all over the planet. So I had to get me some young cats. It's you know, touring is a tough deal, dude. You know,
I know.
It ain't, you know, people have no idea. It's tough. No matter how nice the hotel is, you out there running. It is tough. Nicole Mother says, who has the biggest influence on you musically in your musical life, Jimmy?
Well, like I said, Junior Walker's a big one. I saw Junior, met him several times back in the day. He was an unbelievable. I saw him in a little bitty club in Charlotte live. It was unbelievable. King Curtis is another one.
Man, King Curtis, man. I need to start playing some of his stuff. Yeah.
Man, that dude, you know, he was murdered outside his house.
I didn't know that.
And he was, at the time, he was the head of one of the A&R guys for Atlantic Records. He was the musical director for Atlantic Records. And I really think that if he had lived, then popular music saxophone would have been a lot meaner and tougher. And then, you know, because the next thing that came along was David Sanborn and Mike Brecker. They're great players, but they were jazz players. And King Curtis was a rock and roll player. And I think he would have had a big influence on the way modern saxophone was recorded and stuff. But anyway, I love that stuff. I can listen to that stuff all day.
But I believe that the cats that get into that particular instrument, they find those cats. I know musically, you know, I used to hear, when I first started with the blues, I was channeling a lot of B.B. King because that's what you was hearing. And then the more and more I got into it, you know, I started getting into for me personally, I started getting into the Johnny Taylors, the Copelands, the Freddie Kings and Tyrone Davises and all that. And I'm like, man, you know, there's so much in there, you know, the Eddie Cleanhead Vincents and all that kind of stuff. And it's amazing what people consider popular and the young guys what you start out with. I say that young guys, and then when you kind of find your equilibrium, when you have that epiphany of you being the best you there are, then you start finding those cats that, you know, like, oh man, you know, nothing wrong with Dave Brubeck, but check this cat out, man. You know, like, wow, listen to that. You know, you're like, man, you know, and you start seeing things like, why isn't this guy like a household name? You know, I had that same thing with way back with a cat named Cal David. I don't know if you know Cal David. And Cal David lives out in Palm Springs. He used to own the blue guitar. Cal sat in for a while there and replaced the lead singer for Chicago when he passed away. And he's with the Fabulous Rhinestones. Him and Al Cooper were good friends, and Cal was one of them cats. He plays the Firebird. That's his guitar choice. But I was shocked, man. I used to be like, why isn't this guy on the radio? And blah, blah, blah. And then you learn as you get into the business that there's a lot of guys who are super duper talented, but this business is quirky. And you have to be quirky to go with it. And it's not, I shouldn't say not always. Most of the time, it's not the most talented cat that you hear. You know, right. But it's the cat that was able to roll with the punches and you know, made it through the obstacle course, and that's what you hear, you know. and then you have to go back. And I believe it's up to those cats that make it through the obstacle course to go back and introduce to people those cats that they got stuck on a bramble somewhere that you should really hear. Like, you should hear this cat. You should you hear that cat.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough business, man. That's I mean, nothing has ever. I've been through recessions and hurricanes and all that, but nothing like this last year. So those of us that come out the other side of this, I think not just us, but the fans, the people that appreciate live music, got to be commended for sticking it out and coming back and supporting us, because it's I have never seen. Obviously, there's never been anything like this, and it's not back yet, but it's getting there.
Yeah, this has been like crazy is an understatement. I mean, this has just been like just unprecedented. I mean, like you said, it's I wonder, even through the wars and whatnot, people had more access to music, World War II and all this stuff than what they had during this pandemic. I don't think I don't know, as far as our business, if it's ever been like this. This is like worldwide, not just nationwide.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole. That's like, I was in New Orleans for Katrina, and that's the only thing I can really compare it to. But that just happened to us. That wasn't the whole world.
Yeah, and I know a lot of cats. I knew a lot of cats that moved to Houston. The Houston scene is bustling because a lot of Louisiana cats came out of Katrina, moved to Houston, and didn't move back. And so there's a hellified scene going on right now in the Houston area with all these transplants from Tennessee and Mississippi, Louisiana, that moved into Houston area and stayed. I don't know if you got an opportunity to go down there. I haven't been down there much, which that's home for me, Texas, but there's a hellified scene going on down there.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. Matt Johnson keeps telling me. I mean, he's living in North Dakota now, but he's like, dude, you got to go to Houston. Go to Houston. You can play like 6 nights a week.
Yeah, I even during the pandemic, I guess that, I was talking to Larry Fulcher. Larry's down there,
right?
And I know those guys real well from the Phantom Blues Band. I've done a few albums with them on the down low, and it's crazy what's going on in Houston. Houston, everybody talking about Nashville and all that. And I keep telling people, like, man, Houston is the new Mecca right now. It's the music. You had so many people doing the. That between Katrina and the hurricanes and all the stuff that happened down south and some of the crazy stuff that happened up north, all these guys for some reason moved to Houston.
Mike Zito tried to get me to move to Houston when I played with Mike for years, and he was always saying, "Man, you got to move to Texas, move to Houston. We got all the money. Look at all these girls we got. We got the music scene."
That sounds like Mike.
I said, yeah, but there's one problem is in Texas. The good thing about Houston is that's got the Gulf Coast thing happening.
Yeah. I mean, Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, all great cities. They just surrounded by Texas. And but I mean, I'm from Tyler and Dallas, so I can say that.
I can't say it. I shouldn't have said what I said.
No, ain't nothing wrong with that. It's the truth. And that's been like that's been a hard thing. But musician-wise, musicians, we don't care. Musicians, that's one thing I love about musicians. It usually doesn't matter about your politics, your religion, or your color. If you can play, I want to play with you. If you can't play, well, I'm gonna be nice, but I'm not gonna play with you. Right. That was wrong, but that is what it is.
No, that is. We just have a different set of standards here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, it's all about the music. It really shouldn't be about anything else.
It should be about the music. That's why you go back and you see all those you froze. All those great bands from are you still there? Jimmy? Jimmy? All right, while Jimmy get that fix, he froze. We're gonna play this one for you. My new single. Check it out. Yeah, you froze. Jimmy, if you can hear us, you froze, baby. The stakes are getting higher. The world seems so dire. Walk in a high wire. Fixing flat tires and put in our It 4-time expires. Lobbied by liars. Jimmy work in the mire. Go to the choir. Okay. In 2020, some people have plenty while others are empty. How? Misinformation. Oh, spread that thing. Sweet misinformation. The soul of humanity facing calamity. No borders or boundaries. Only light defies gravity. Fueled by morality. We are the cavalry. Intrigued by insanity. Hanging in galleries. Recharging my battery. Don't try to flatter me. Can't put me on salary. Gonna crush it with Mallory. How? Misinformation.
Great song.
Now, spread that thing. Sweet misinformation.
It's the 80s.
Go pick you
Yeah.
up. Go spin you around. Go turn your whole world upside
80s bridge,
down.
baby.
Go spread that word all over town. Hey, better, mind over matter. Dull, useless chatter. Be a mad hatter, invisible dancer, climb spiritual ladders. Love is the answer. She don't have no master. Just add in some laughter. The world's turning faster. Writing new chapters. Change or go backwards. Ah, yeah. Sweet misinformation. Spread that thing, girl. Misinformation, yeah. Go pick you up, go spin you around, go turn your whole world upside down, go spread that word all over town. Misinformation. Spread that thing. Misinformation. Ain't it sweet? Yeah, yeah. Misinformation. She's a beauty queen. Misinformation. Spread that thing. Misinformation.
Yeah, man.
That's my new single, man. It's doing real good. Little over 350,000 streams.
Wow.
They should be getting ready here in November to release the second single, which is called Invisible Soldier, and it's me talking about my PTSD and all that good stuff, which we had a really good talk about that with Keisha Pratt the other night. But one of the albums that I did that I was really proud of, and it was with the Italian Royal family and some of the guys from the Daptones, and it was one of those weird things where, we got a lot of write-ups in Rolling Stones as far as Germany, France, and Europe, and when it came to the States, these guys wanted me to leave my band and join their band, and I was like, man, I've worked too hard to get my name where it is to leave my band. I've had that with that band. I turned down a deal with the Bone Shakers. I turned down a deal with a Tower Power because I've worked hard to get to where I am to change my name. But check this out. I'm doing one more, and then we're going to talk a little bit more, Jimmy, and then I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you sticking around. And hang on just one more song. I ain't going to take you off the screen. I'm going to leave it on the screen because I don't know what's going on. Everything's kind of freaking out a little bit. So here we go. Check this out.
All right.
Oh, yeah. You bid me hold my peace. Yeah. And for a while, my sorrow cease. Yeah, Judy Beck, that's what the whole song is about. Misinformation. Getting there, bad pain, tongue in cheek. Beyond my years. Fruitless tears for fruitless years.
but pain remains. Life beats for me a melancholy strain. Gotta keep moving, can't stop now. I gotta keep moving, can't stop now. My heart keep beating time. I used to first at home, but hope is past gone. So cold now, unclose the hope and peace. Only sees relief.
Overdriving the mic and all. I was like, man, you guys we're gonna fix that. They're like, no, we keeping it. It sounds old school. We keeping it. I'm like, all right, whatever, man.
A melancholy strain.
It's great to hear you sing in this kind of setting.
Yeah, I don't get to do it all.
Can't stop now. Gotta keep moving, can't stop now. My heart keep beating time. I learned to know.
Check out the horn arrangement. Only time you can use flute when you get them to be quiet.
My heart keep beating time. Fast and slow.
Hey, Kathleen.
Telling me things I've learned to know.
Yeah, man. That's beautiful.
Somebody says, Nicole said, did you two ever work together, Sugaray and Jimmy? Yeah, actually, we worked together in Vegas. Jimmy was
That's
like,
right.
I was playing a show. I was playing a show, and Jimmy came down and played with me for the whole gig. That was actually it was you and Big Al Walker, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I used 2 saxophones. Yeah, that was great.
that was fun. That was really cool.
That was cool. And
we learned all those songs, and then we didn't do any of them.
well, that's me again, just like Walter. I'm sorry, brother. I'm
Sorry,
so
no,
sorry.
There's nothing to be sorry about.
You know us country guys. It's like, yeah, it's I'm looking at the crowd and I just kind of go with what my soul tell me that. All right, Jimmy, give me your socials, brother. Give me your socials.
I think they're all Jimmy on Sax. Instagram's Jimmy on Sax, and my Facebook artist page is Jimmy on Sax. The regular Facebook page is always jammed up full, and I just kind of.
Well, I want to remind people too that my personal page, you guys, we're deleting that as of December 1st. So you guys need to go over to the artist page at the Sugaray Raper. It's just too much work trying to keep them both going, and we will be deleting the personal page. And the only thing that we'll be able to figure out what's going on is the artist page. And of course, the show is going live on the artist page. It's also going live to YouTube. And for all those people that are over there on YouTube listening and rocking with us, you guys got the better deal. In YouTube, it's full 1080p. It's full high def sound. Facebook drops it down to 720, and it drops the sound down to it's all compressed. But this is being recorded live and archived on Facebook and YouTube at the Sugaray Rayford on YouTube, at the Sugaray Rayford on Facebook. So Jimmy, what's next for you, brother?
Well, like I said, we were talking about earlier, we're going to Denmark with the Bender Brass next week. I'm going back to the UK in January. I'm playing Skegness. I know you mentioned that festival.
Skeggy, baby, Skeggy.
Yeah. Peter Barton has turned out to be a really good friend there, and
right on.
He's a sweet guy and a big rock star in England.
Yeah.
So
he's got a name.
That's happening. Talking about another record, still banging it out here in Vegas, man. Playing the Sand Dollar this weekend and having a big time. It's things are rolling. They don't seem like they're rolling fast enough. And then if I stop and think about it for a second, I'm like, well, this is all going pretty good. So I always want something. something
Yeah.
faster. But
Yeah, but you know, I mean, something you gotta be careful what you wish for. You know, I wished for a break. You know, and then we got the pandemic. I played 5 live, well, altogether maybe 8 live shows in the last 2 years, and that's a hell of a contrast for me. Usually playing 150, 200 shows a year, so you know it is what it is. You know, so see you in Denmark next week. Great festival. What festival is it? Do you know?
Peter
Offhand?
Ostrup's festival,
Oh, okay, Blues Heaven.
Heaven. Yeah,
Right on. That's right. We talked about that. Yeah, with my man Peter.
right.
That's a hell of a festival. I think he's got Bobby Rush and his buddy on that one also.
No, Bobby Rush, John Primer, um,
I like John.
Monster Mike Welch,
Right on.
RJ Michaud. Oh, there's a bunch of people.
RJ, man. You know, I've known RJ forever in the day also, man. I've known RJ forever, man.
Right, he's a California guy, isn't he?
He is there. Yeah, he hangs out with my OMD, Ralph Court up north there a little bit. Him and what's the brother name? Oh, good Lord. I can see his face. Why can't I think of his name? Oh God. But he's a hell of a singer also. I don't think he gets the love that he should get. All right. Well, you going with the brass? You taking the entire brass?
Just the horns.
Oh, just the horns. Okay.
Yeah, we do kind of what, you know, originally the Bender Brass was a horn section that would back up whoever. And then it just kind of morphed into the big whole band.
Yeah.
So, but we get to do that. It's fun. Bobby Rush's people told me they didn't want horns, but I figure I can make that happen once we get there.
Really? Bobby didn't want horns?
That's what they said. I'm like, okay, well, we'll see.
Once you start seeing other people playing, things change.
Man, Bobby Rush is one of my favorite people in the world. I've had a bunch of really amazing conversations with that man, and I love him to death. I'll be happy just to hang out with him a little bit.
Yeah, he good people. We've me too over the probably the last 10 years. I've got spent some time with him, hang with him, and we played a show in New York together while I was opening for him a few years back. It was the last show. I'm not sure if that was BB King's. I think it was BB King's down on Times Square. Right. We did the last show before they closed it down for good, tore it down, and had something different. And he and I hung out that day, me, him, and Pam, and talked and stuff. And got to talk to him a couple times out in the Pacific Northwest, out at the Waterfront Festival. A couple times back with the Managed Board days and sit and talk to him. Cool cat, hellacious history. I mean, Bobby has done it all, man. And I was talking to him one day. I could never figure out exactly how old he was. He changed it every time I talked to him. He's like, should I have done 66 albums? I was like, good Lord, 66 albums, And then somebody said, no, I think it's more than that. And I was like, man, one day I'll be able to say that. But I want to say one of the greatest years ago, I think one of the first times I played the not the Big Blues Bender, but the Blues Cruise, and we were going out of Puerto Rico, so we was there 2 days earlier, and I got to sit down and talk to Scrap Iron, Otis Clay, and Johnny Rawls. Of course, I'm the young buck, and I sat down with them cats for 2 hours. Back behind a parking structure. I won't say what else was going on, but we behind a parking structure. And man, just to sit there and listen to those guys, and Scrap is gone, and Mr. Clay is gone, and a couple years later, I wound up playing with Mr. Clay, Cyril Neville, and Buckwheat Zydeco in Switzerland. There at the what's the name of that festival? Man. My old age is starting to show, but anyway, I love it when I get to sit down and talk to the old cats, man. They the stories and the knowledge they drop on you is amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love all those guys. Plus, I mean, I love soul music. I love blues, and it's a natural extension. It's all the same, really. But I love R&B, like what you're doing on this new record is killer.
Thank you, brother.
That's kind of the way I want to lean, because I like songs,
Yeah.
I mean, I love guitar solos.
It's been a steady progression. I mean, I came out straight blues rock when I was with the Kids Boys, and then with the Managed Boys, it was just West Coast swing stuff, and then with a couple other bands that have been slowly moving into that blues, soul blues thing, and now they're really pushing me into the soul blues Americana, me Lee Fields, and you know, and the last 2 albums I've done have kind of had that type of leaning, you know.
AJ and I sat. AJ Gross, the founder of the Big Blues Bender.
Yeah, AJ, good people. I love AJ.
We sit across the desk from each other and do a lot of this stuff. And we put that last full record you released on and listened to it straight through, and both of us kept getting sidetracked, and we were trying to work, and I'm like, whoa, listen to that. Damn.
Oh, thank you, brother.
Really good record. Both of us were like, whoa, this is a good record.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Eric Korn did a great job with it.
Yeah, no, and it was a whim. You know, when I met Eric, I had just signed with Rick Booth and those guys, Intrepid Artists, as my booking agency. And I just came back from 4 months straight overseas. And Barbara Newman had called me up and asked me to come down to be a judge at the IBC, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was the IBC. And I literally came from Europe and went straight there. I was exhausted. And Pam was there. And we were standing out in front of Orpheum Theater. And Del Toro Richardson was in there playing. I was supposed to go in and sit in with him, but I was mentally and physically burnt. And so I'm dressed up to the nines, but I'm standing out in front of the Orpheum. And Rick Booth walks up and with this little cat, Eric Korn. And at the time, I had three other record deals on the table. But, you know, I had just done the year before that album you just heard, one of the songs from the album you just heard, the World We Live In. I was really loving this soul thing, and I didn't want to go back to the, I call it the boom blues right away. That'll always be there for me, and I'm always going to be a straight ahead blues man, but I'm a singer. And so Eric just said all the right things. He's like, man, you know, I want to take you into the Americana and soul and you know, you have a great voice, and I heard that album. I want to do some other things. I thought you were still on the record deal with those guys. Say, no, that was a one-off. I came home from Europe and fam said, you got to go back to Italy in 3 days. I'm like, for what? You know, it's like, yo, you got to do some recording. I'm like, all right. And it worked out good. I mean, I got a Grammy nomination out of it. You know, I won the BB King Entertainer. You know, it's a hell of an album. The new album is even more so. I mean, there's some tracks on there. I got to co-write, do some real co-writing this time, not just Eric and you know, the album's called In Too Deep. And wait till you hear that, dude. Man, all the songs are great, like Misinformation, and the one they're getting ready to drop next is called Invisible Soldier. I think you guys will dig that. Well, Jimmy, I didn't want to keep you all day. We already had a 2-hour show, but I had 2 guests, and that's the way it goes.
Man, I could sit here all day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to rush you off, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. But I appreciate you taking the time, man, to do it, and very kind of you to do that, brother.
Man, I really, really appreciate you having me. I was wondering when you were going to ask. I'm like, damn.
It was coming, man. You know, I know a lot of cats, man. So sometimes I sit here and I started going through my head. You know, it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind almost. It's like, okay, who can I call? Who haven't I had? I mean, this is the 73rd show. So you're the 73rd. No, actually, you're not the 73rd guest, because there's been a lot of shows where we had double guests. There have been shows that we had 3 guests. I did one night. I did Terrio Darby, Anika Chambers, and Shakura Saida all together at one time.
All right.
You know, that was a hell of a show.
I'll bet that was.
That was the sisters took over. So I'm just trying, you know, for me, this was a way to reconnect with everybody while the pandemic going on, because sometimes we don't get to see each other until you're doing the gig, you know, and then you're at the gig and then you don't really get to see each other. Like, I got to see you a little bit at the Bender, but you was busy. And you know, and I was like, well, you know, we'll holler. And then so it was funny, as I told you, I was playing some Walter stuff, and there you were in the background. I'm like, wow, man, I need to call and get Jimmy on the show, you know. And it was, like I said, I decided on mine. So I call you up, you're like, yeah, man. I'm like, okay, cool, very cool. I said, I got Aki, and you know, we were thinking about bringing you on the next week, but you're going to be in Europe. And I was like, no, I got to get you on right now. I got to get you on right now. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
So anything you want to say to the people before we go?
Let's see. Just watch for the next record, and I'm out trying to tour, man. I'm just chipping away at it, and got some big things coming. I'll go to Calgary next summer, and you know, headed to England again in January. Always playing here in Vegas. If you're coming through Vegas, definitely look me up.
Right on.
Gulf Coast Records. I don't think I managed to get that in there either.
I was about to get mine in here too. Yeah. Mike Zito, he's doing a hell of a job. I just saw some video of him. It was like Married with Children or something.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet, but they just released that. Yeah, I talked to him for an hour this morning.
It looked pretty cool. And you know, I play in a side project with him every once in a blue moon called the Blues Giants. Me,
Right.
him, Albert Castillo, Jimmy Bott, Willie J. Campbell. That's a lot of fun too. You guys, I want to give a shout out to Eric Korn from 40 Below Records for sure. To my management, Miss Stephanie Gonzalez at Apropos Management, my booking agency, The Mint, Jesse Rossoff. Somebody that's when the new album comes out. The new album drops March the 4th. It's called In Too Deep. March the 4th. Look forward. It will be everywhere. And hopefully we have some success with it and get out and play some stuff. Next week, I'm at my last show for the year. We're at the Shoreline, the New Blues Festival in Long Beach with me and Tito Jackson, also on Gulf Coast Records. That should be a lot of fun. You guys come check that out. My guests today have been Aki Kumar and the legendary Mr. Jimmy Carpenter. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, please, please be good to one another and to yourself. I'm Sugaray Rayford. This is the Suga Shack. That's Jimmy the Carpenter, and we're out. Peace.